I'm not going to waste your time telling you to juggle more, do more cone drills, or watch more skills videos. None of that is your problem. If you've been training hard, actually hard, and you're still stuck exactly where you were 6 months ago, I need you to hear this. It's not effort. It's not talent. It's something almost nobody coaches, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Stick with me for the next few minutes. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why your training hasn't been translating onto the pitch, and exactly what to change starting today. Here's what most players think the problem is. More reps, more fitness, more tutorials. So they go out, they hammer 1,000 touches against a wall, they run extra sprints, they binge skills videos at midnight, and somehow, in an actual match, none of it shows up. The ball comes to them under pressure and all that practice just disappears. The step over that looked clean in the empty gym falls apart the second a real defender closes in. Some players take it even further. They add extra gym sessions, extra agility ladders, extra cardio, convinced that if they just get fitter and faster, the decision-making will somehow follow on its own. It won't. You can be the fittest player on the pitch and still be the slowest to react. Because fitness and football intelligence are trained completely differently, in completely different parts of your nervous system. Sound familiar? Maybe you've started questioning whether you're just not built for this. Whether some players have it and some don't. Whether all the hours you've put in mean nothing. Here's a quick self-test. In a real match, do you ever find yourself receiving the ball and then deciding what to do instead of already knowing? Do you scan once, maybe, and then just hope the picture hasn't changed by the time the ball arrives? Do your best moves only ever seem to show up in training, never under real pressure, never when it actually counts? If you nodded at even one of those, this video is for you. They mean something. Every hour you've put in still counts for something. You've just been training the wrong layer of the game, and that's a far easier problem to fix than lacking talent. Here's what's actually happening. Football isn't only a physical skill. It's a decision-making skill, performed at speed, under pressure, with incomplete information. Your body might know how to execute a perfect cut in an empty gym with zero pressure and unlimited time. But on the pitch, you don't get unlimited time. You get a fraction of a second to read a defender's hips, scan the space behind you, and react all before the ball even arrives. That reaction doesn't come from raw repetition. It comes from proprioception, your nervous system's constantly updating internal map of your body and the space around it, combined with pattern recognition built from repeated exposure to game-realistic situations. Elite players aren't thinking faster than you in those moments. In most cases, they're barely thinking at all. Their brain has already preloaded the decision because it has seen that exact pattern 1,000 times before, not in isolated cone drills, but in chaotic, pressured, game-like reps where a wrong read actually cost them something. That's the real issue. You've been training movements. You have not been training decisions. And those are two completely different skills that just happen to look similar from the outside. A player with average technique but elite decision-making will outperform a player with elite technique and slow decision-making in almost every real match situation, because the game rarely gives you time to show off your best move, it gives you half a second to make the right one. This isn't just a theory I'm throwing out to sound smart. Research into motor learning has shown for decades that skills trained in isolated, predictable environments, static cone work, mirror drills, uncontested touches, transfer poorly into chaotic, unpredictable environments like a real match. It's sometimes called the specificity of training principle, and it might be the single most ignored concept in self-coached football development. Watch how top academies actually structure sessions. They're not running endless isolated technical drills. The majority of their training time goes into small-sided games and decision-heavy scenarios, on purpose. They're not avoiding technical work, they're embedding it inside pressure, inside chaos, inside real consequences, because that is the only environment that actually builds usable instinct. A touch you've only ever practiced in silence is not the same touch you need in a packed midfield with 3 seconds on the clock. There's a reason this gets called game intelligence instead of just skill. Skill is what you can do with the ball when nothing is asking you anything. Game intelligence is what you can do with the ball when everything is asking you something at once: the defender's body shape, the space behind you, the runner making a movement out of the corner of your eye, the clock, the score. None of that exists in an empty gym. All of it exists in a real match, and it's only trainable if you actually expose yourself to it on purpose, in training, before it ever shows up in a game where it costs you. So if you've been doing everything right by the old standard reps, and still feel invisible in games, this is why. You haven't failed. You've been following an incomplete map. So how do you actually fix this? Not with more isolated reps, not with another month of the same routine that hasn't moved the needle. Here's the framework: 5 specific shifts that retrain the actual skill that's been missing, and that you can start applying in your very next training session. Number 1. Stop training in silence. Every drill you do alone should simulate some form of pressure, a cone acting as a defender, a strict time limit, a forced decision point. Even imagined pressure works if you train your mind to treat every touch like it matters, because the goal isn't a clean touch in isolation. The goal is a clean touch under stress. Number 2. Train scanning before you train technique. Before you receive a pass, your head should already be turning. Most self-trained players check their surroundings once, maybe right as the ball arrives, if at all. Elite players scan multiple times in the seconds before receiving, building a mental picture of the field before the ball ever gets there. By the time it touches their foot, the decision is basically already made. Number 3. Reduce touches, increase decisions. Instead of grinding 500 mindless reps against a wall, do 50 touches where every single one demands a choice: pass, turn, shield, release, switch. Quality of decision beats quantity of repetition every single time, and this single shift alone will do more for your game than another month of mindless ball mastery routines. Number 4. Review your matches like film, not like highlights. Stop only rewatching your good moments to feel good about yourself. Go back and find the moments where you froze, where you made the wrong read, where you turned into pressure instead of away from it, and ask why, specifically, that happened. That's where the real coaching lives, even when nobody is in your ear giving it to you. Number 5. Train both sides of the decision, not just the obvious one. Most players default to the same 1 or 2 reads under pressure, always shielding, always playing it safe sideways, always taking the same touch. Force yourself to practice the read you avoid. If you always shield, practice turning. If you always play safe, practice the riskier line-breaking pass. Comfort zones in decision-making are just as limiting as comfort zones in technique. Let's make this practical. Here are 4 drills you can run completely alone, starting today. Drill 1, the scan and react. Set up 2 cones, 5 meters apart, representing 2 passing lanes. Before you receive a pass off a wall, or play it to yourself, scan left and right. As the ball arrives, you have to instantly decide which cone to play toward, based on a signal you set beforehand, a number you call out, a coin flip, anything random. This forces real decision-making under a genuine time constraint, instead of a pre-planned, memorized sequence. Drill 2, pressure shadowing. Set a phone timer to beep at random, unpredictable intervals. Every time it goes off, you have exactly 1 second to change direction with the ball, as if a defender has suddenly appeared from your blind side. This trains your nervous system to react on instinct rather than think first, which is exactly the demand of a real match, where there's no time to consciously plan your next move. Drill 3, constrained touches. Give yourself one strict rule, for example, every touch must happen while moving, with no standing still allowed. This forces continuous micro-decisions on every single touch, which mirrors the actual demand of game speed far better than static ball mastery patterns ever will. Drill 4, the random recall drill. Have someone, a sibling, a friend, anyone, call out a number or color at random while you're juggling or doing closed control touches, and assign each one a different action: turn, sprint 5 meters. Pass to a target, fake and cut. This trains your brain to process an external trigger and convert it into an immediate physical decision, which is the exact skill that breaks down for most players the moment a defender shows up unexpectedly. Run these 4 drills consistently, even just 15 to 20 minutes a day, and you will start noticing something within 2 to 3 weeks. The game slows down. Not because it's actually slower. Because your brain has finally been trained to read it. Now, a quick warning, because players tend to swing too hard in one direction once they hear this. Some of you are going to obsess over decision-based training and quietly drop physical development and recovery completely. That's a mistake too. Your nervous system needs actual rest to encode these new patterns properly. Drilling decision-making while exhausted, every single day, with zero recovery, doesn't build instinct, it builds bad habits that get reinforced under fatigue, which is arguably worse than doing nothing at all. So balance is the real goal here. Technical reps, decision-based reps, and genuine recovery, working together as one system, not one piece replacing the other two. 2 or 3 focused decision training sessions a week, layered on top of your normal technical work, is plenty. This isn't about training more. It's about training the part that's actually been missing. Before we wrap up, quick mention: if you're serious about structuring this properly instead of guessing week to week, check the link in the description for the free training framework breakdown. It lays out exactly how to balance these 3 pillars without burning yourself out, and it's completely free. Here's the thing I want you to actually take from this video. You were never lacking talent. You were never destined to plateau at this level forever. You were simply training the wrong layer of the game, the exact same mistake almost every self-coached player makes, because nobody ever explains it to them this clearly. Now, and knowing this puts you ahead of the vast majority of players who are still out there right now, grinding the same isolated reps, wondering why nothing in their actual matches is changing. They'll keep doing it for months, maybe years, because nobody ever pulled them aside and named the actual problem. You just got that conversation for free. Starting today, train differently. Train with pressure. Train with decisions, not just touches. Watch your matches like a coach would, not like a highlight reel. Give it 3 weeks of consistent work, and pay close attention to how the game itself starts to feel slower under your feet. If this opened your eyes even a little, subscribe, because this channel is built entirely around training the parts of your game that nobody else is coaching you on. Drop a comment with the one thing from this video you're going to apply first. I read every single one, and I'll be picking a few to respond to directly. And if you want the full breakdown of how to build a complete solo training week around everything covered here, that video is coming next, so make sure you're subscribed before it drops.